Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to jump on quickly to add to the conversation of stigma. I watched a video this morning very briefly referencing the events that happened this past weekend in the tarot community, but the larger, more important discussion was about the stigma of mental illness. It's an excellent video. I will link it below. I commented on it and also wanted to use that topic as a bridge to a related topic, which is the stigma of addiction. So mental illness and substance use disorder are often comorbid conditions. In other words, they're coexisting conditions. So if someone has one disorder, chances are pretty decent that they may have experience with the other, or vice versa. I won't belabor what happened this past weekend because we're all ready to move on. I will say that a sentiment that was conveyed during that time is a sentiment that is pretty common for people who have someone in their lives who deals with substance use disorder. And that sentiment is, you know you have this problem. Or maybe you don't know you have this problem. But either way, why don't you have the self-control to stop? Why don't you have the willpower to stop? And I want to say that I get it. I completely get it because I have had that same reaction. If I'm being completely transparent, I still find myself sometimes having that reaction. I have a close family member who deals with alcohol addiction. And last month there was an incident, and it was heartbreaking and concerning and frustrating. And a reaction that popped in my head, despite myself, was, you know this is a problem for you. Why do you keep allowing this into your life? Why don't you have the willpower to see this coming and to stop it? And I had to really check myself and to remind myself that addiction is complicated and cannot be whittled down to self-control. Without going into the science of brain reward pathway and dopamine and all that, let's just say that addiction changes the brain. It changes how it functions, it changes how it adapts, to the point where it is extremely, extremely difficult to resist the very intense compulsion to seek out that substance. Despite the person's resolve, despite their best intentions, it is very difficult because of the changes in their brain. These changes that are sometimes long-lasting. In terms of recovery, that looks different for each person. If that person has sought the help of a healthcare professional, then treatment would usually include some form of therapy, like cognitive behavioral therapy, and sometimes in conjunction with that, medication. So medically assisted treatment. And also on the path to recovery is the recognition that the person will more than likely experience a relapse or several relapses because the changes in the brain are that affecting. And that relapse could be months down the line. It could be years down the line. So I guess I'm putting this out there to invite some of you to reconsider the perception of addiction, to reconsider the role that self-control plays in the dialogue of recovery and relapse. For those of you who deal with both mental illness and substance use disorder, know that you're not alone. You're not some freak of nature. This is common that those two conditions coexist. And so you're not alone, and we love you. For those of you navigating the path of recovery, I recognize that this is not easy. It is very, very hard, and it is something that cannot be distilled down to just the simple act of willpower. And we love you, and you are not alone. If anything I have said puts a dent in this stigma, no matter how tiny, then it is worth my sharing, because this is a difficult topic for me to discuss. I thank you for watching. Much love to you all.